If you've ever paused to ask, what am I doing with my life? You probably found yourself deep in thought soon after. You might look around and wonder, isn't there more than this? Maybe you're frustrated with a job that's going nowhere, or you're just tired of scraping by. You might even think, I wish I could earn a living doing what I actually enjoy. You're not alone in this thought process. And no, you're not being whiny or ungrateful. You're searching for meaning. You want your life to feel less burdensome. You crave a more passionate existence, spending your days and years with purpose. I'm glad you're here because it means you're genuinely trying to find answers and connect with a life that feels more intentional and authentic. This journey isn't linear, but your willingness to seek meaning already places you on the right path. I want to anchor our exploration with a single powerful intention. Uncover your inner compass to guide you from passion to meaningful direction. By focusing on this intention, we can move beyond surface level interests and discover what truly drives and fulfills us. Today, I want to help you map out your path by weaving together insights and stories that show how passion, purpose, and real-life experience intersect. My name is Suku Powers, and I am the CEO of Truth and Order Media. Welcome to my talk. What's my point? From passion to purpose. Instead of just asking, what am I doing with my life? We're going to start finding the answer together. We'll uncover practical strategies to identify your passions, navigate life's obstacles, and translate your unique talents into a meaningful purpose. Before we begin, let's define passion and then define purpose. Passion is the fire that motivates you. It lights up the subject, activity, or cause you can't stop thinking about. It captures your enthusiasm and intense interest, and can sometimes even make you lose track of time. People can be passionate about an incredible range of things. Hands-on pursuits, such as building or gardening, intellectual endeavors like leadership or entrepreneurship, physical activities like sports or meditation, social or humanitarian pursuits like community building or mentoring, and creative passions like painting or singing. Likewise, there are people who claim they're not passionate about anything in particular. You'll often hear them saying, I'm not really talented or good at anything. Before we proceed, let's address this crowd by clarifying what talent is. Talent is often seen as a natural aptitude or an ability that comes easily to someone. But in truth, talent is a blend of both what comes naturally and what is cultivated over time. It's the unique way your mind and body process and express certain skills or knowledge. Sometimes, talent is obvious, surfacing early in life, but just as often it emerges only after years of curiosity, experimentation, and hard work. For this talk, I will use the words passion and talent interchangeably, because they are deeply connected. Passion can mirror talent, and talent can spark passion. A person who is passionate about learning to play guitar can, with time, develop the talent for it. Conversely, someone with a natural talent for music will often find their passion for it growing exponentially. Now that we've covered what passion is, let's move on to purpose. Purpose is the guiding principle that gives direction and meaning to our actions. It is more than a goal or a job. It's the deeper motivation that shapes how we use our passion and talent in the world. Purpose is discovered at the intersection of what excites us, what we are good at, and what feels meaningful to ourselves and others. While it often grows from our unique interests and strengths, purpose ultimately calls us to contribute beyond ourselves, offering something of value to the world around us. So, how do all these pieces, passion, talent, and purpose, come together in a real person's life? Let me tell you about a man I once knew, whom I'll call Danny. Danny was exceptionally good at building just about anything from scratch. He could custom build things as complex as roofs and other more modest items like spice racks or pet stairs without ever needing a single instruction. When I praised him for his talent, he humbly said, "Oh, it's no big deal. My grandpa taught me how to build a few things when I was a kid." I replied, No, you can see math. That's talent. I mean, I can't visualize geometry or algebra in my head and then apply it the way you can." He laughed and responded, "Well, I guess that's a good thing because I dropped out of high school." Danny explained that he moved around a lot growing up. He shared that he had always hated being the new kid in town, and that over time, he had simply come to dislike school. He also confided that his older brother had tragically passed away in an accident at the last place he lived before leaving home. Danny built things for pleasure and occasionally picked up side construction gigs for extra money. He didn't pursue building as his life's purpose. Instead, he joined the military at 18 and later became a police officer. I'm sharing Danny's story with you to help explain 3 powerful factors that can help you identify your own passions: nature versus nurture, ancestry, and limitations. While my initial instinct was to see Danny's ability as pure nature, a talent he was born with, he corrected me by giving credit to his grandpa. The skill wasn't just innate. It was nurtured by a loving teacher who patiently passed down his knowledge. This reminds us that many of the talents we admire in others are actually the result of someone's deliberate guidance and support. Danny's brief comment about his grandpa points to a powerful idea that his natural talent for seeing math may have been a gift passed down through his family line. We often fail to ask or dig deeper for more information about the skills, hobbies, and passions of our ancestors. What if there's a talent for music, a knack for mechanics, or a passion for gardening that's been waiting for you to discover it? By asking questions about our family's history, we might uncover a natural aptitude that has been passed down to us. The last and most important lesson from Danny's story is that life's challenges and hardships can shape and sometimes hide our real passions and purpose. Turning a passion into a career isn't always possible. Danny's unstable childhood and loss led him to join the military and later become a police officer. It's important to emphasize that both are noble and honorable paths. Danny's service in the military and as a police officer was not a negative outcome or a fallback, but a courageous response to his circumstances. For him, the security and order of these jobs weren't just a choice, they were what he needed. They gave him the safety he missed growing up, and perhaps fueled a desire to keep others out of harm's way. Even so, Danny's love for building never faded, and he found ways to enjoy it in his free time. It's essential to view these limitations not as permanent roadblocks, but as opportunities for growth. Challenges like Danny's can help us build resilience and learn new skills. With an open mind, we can turn obstacles into opportunities for personal growth. As you can see in Danny's story, our passions and paths are shaped by a complex interplay of our upbringing, our roots, and the challenges we face. The circumstances of our lives can act as limitations, steering us toward a path that offers stability or healing rather than one that seems most aligned with our passions. We may have a natural talent or a deep-seated passion, but the trauma we endure can force us to make a trade-off between our calling and our need for security. Your purpose may not be a single, clear career path. Instead, it could be something you discover as you face life's challenges and limits. I've offered this analysis of Danny's story, examining nature versus nurture, ancestry and limitations, as a form of self-discovery on his behalf. Why? Because self-discovery quietly drives every journey toward passion and purpose. It's not just one moment of insight, but an ongoing process. It means looking inside yourself, asking tough questions, and being okay with not always having the answers. When you use these factors as tools for self-discovery, you'll notice how nature, nurture, ancestry, and limitations all interact to shape who you are and how you respond to life's opportunities and setbacks. You may discover that your own purpose might not be a single clear career path, but rather something you uncover through embracing your journey, challenges, and heritage. Through self-discovery, we begin to notice the subtle patterns that shape our interests, our reactions to challenges, and the beliefs we hold about what is possible for us. This process is rarely straightforward. Each person's path is shaped by a unique blend of influences and experiences. The more we explore and accept the complexities within ourselves, the more equipped we become to recognize our genuine passions and translate them into purposeful action. Self-discovery is the bridge you must cross to connect the spark of inspiration to the steady work of building a meaningful life. Now let's consider a popular saying that speaks to this idea of taking control of your life. The world is your oyster. This metaphor suggests that you have all the resources you need to achieve anything you want. Originally, Shakespeare used it in The Merry Wives of Windsor to mean obtaining money by force, but it has evolved over 4 centuries later into a powerful motivational message. While it's a beautiful sentiment, it doesn't address the pearl or the imagined riches inside the oyster. To truly understand the power of this idea, we must first understand how a pearl is actually formed. A natural pearl is formed when an irritant, like a food particle or debris, enters an oyster shell. The oyster sheds thin, translucent layers of a substance called nacre, also known as mother of pearl, over the irritant. Over months or years, these layers build upon one another, hardening and forming a beautiful iridescent pearl. I share this anecdote to suggest that the world is not your oyster. Instead, you are the oyster, and your mind is the pearl. As you develop from infancy into adulthood, your mind, the pearl, sheds protective layers over these irritants your world encounters. In this way, your mind forms and becomes unique to you. The irritants aren't always bad things, by the way. Think of them as every outside influence that shapes you. One of the best ways to tell if a pearl is natural is to rub it across your bottom tooth. If it feels rough, it's real. If it feels smooth, it's man-made. None of us is smooth, round, and perfect like a man-made pearl. Your mind has its own unique makeup, and your thoughts are shaped by external influences. It's up to you to understand it, and through the process of self-discovery, master your mind so that it can work on your behalf. There is no shortage of well-trained individuals, thought leaders, and philosophers who share incredible insights and tips on how to achieve this. I've studied many, including Viktor Frankl, Plato, the Dalai Lama, Muhammad Ali, and Carl Jung. And the one thing that ties all of them together is a deep knowing that humans are not separate from their environment. We are connected to the primal forces, specifically the classical elements of earth, air, fire, and water. Disclaimer: a modern scientist would not classify these as elements, but rather as geological mixtures, earth, gaseous mixtures, air, chemical reactions, fire, and chemical compounds, water. However, history has shown us that each serves as a powerful philosophical archetype for understanding both the material world and the fundamental and shared characteristics of the human experience. So let's look at each one in the context of you as the oyster, you as the world. Earth represents our physicality and foundations. Like a solid rock, you can be stable and grounded by your principles. Like fertile soil, you can be receptive to new ideas and capable of growth. When your life feels unmoored, you can feel like shifting sand, and the challenges of your life can be symbolized by the unyielding strength of a mountain. Air represents the mind, thought, and communication. Your thoughts can be like a gentle breeze, a subtle whisper of an idea. When you are driven by a sudden, forceful insight, it can feel like a strong gust of wind. The destructive chaos of mental turmoil can be a cyclone in your mind, and the peace and clarity of contemplation can be found in a moment of stillness. Fire represents our passion, energy, and transformational power. Your deep, abiding passions can be a slow burning ember. The peak of your creativity and pure, joyful energy is like a vibrant flame. Overwhelming anger or self-destructive behavior can feel like a wildfire that consumes you, while a sudden brilliant moment of clarity or inspiration can feel like a flash of lightning. Water represents emotion, intuition, and fluidity. Your emotional life can be a flowing river, constantly moving and adapting. The vast depths of your desires and hidden fears can be as vast as the ocean. When you are emotionally shut down, rigid, or just feel numb, you are like solid ice. The fleeting, dreamy states of intuition and memory can be as intangible as vapor or mist. I share this information because understanding these elemental forces reminds us that we are not separate from our environment. Our passions, challenges, and sense of purpose are all intertwined with the world around us. You are both the passion and the purpose you seek. Recognizing this deep connection between self and the environment sets the stage for a new layer of self-mastery. The next steps in your journey involve working with the fundamental forces that drive your thoughts, emotions, and actions on a daily basis. Among these, energy, fear, and faith play especially powerful roles. By learning how each of these influences show up in your life, you'll be able to respond with intention instead of reacting on autopilot. Let's explore how energy, fear, and faith impact your experience and how you can work with them more effectively. Energy can't be created or destroyed. It only moves from one place to another. You get energy from food, sleep, exercise, and the people, places, or things that shape who you currently are and who you want to become. There are two types: potential energy, which is stored and not yet used, such as energy stored in food in your body, and kinetic energy, which is active, like the energy you expend when you go for a walk. Ask yourself often if the energy you're storing, giving, or receiving from yourself and those around you is helping you live in alignment with your passions and what matters to you, or if it's holding you back. Once you're aware of this dynamic, you can make choices that support your growth and well-being. However, even with this awareness, the main thing that can stop you from taking action is fear. Fear is a complex, beautiful thing. It keeps us alive. Sometimes it holds us back, and at other times it pushes us to act. Fear isn't just an emotion. It's part of our built-in survival system that's designed to protect us. When we feel fear, it can manifest as dread or worry, triggering the familiar fight, flight, or freeze reaction in our bodies and prompting us to question what to do next. These reactions can also lead to other feelings, such as sadness when we sense a loss, anger when we feel threatened, or a desire for control when we face uncertainty. The key is learning how to manage fear, both in our minds and bodies, so it doesn't run our lives. This is crucial on the journey from passion to purpose, because you can't move forward if fear is always in the driver's seat. Emotions are powerful because our brains and bodies work together to create them. The first reaction might be automatic, but what happens next is up to us. When we learn to notice, understand, and regulate our emotions, we gain the freedom to choose our path, no matter what fear might say. One of the most effective ways to manage our emotions, particularly fear, is to gain a deep understanding of the vital role that faith plays in our lives. When people think of faith, they often associate it with established religion. But at its core, faith is simply the ability to believe and trust that there is value in an outcome that cannot be foreseen. It is the confidence to take action even when you don't have every guarantee. This secular definition immediately makes faith the antithesis of control. Where the pursuit of control is a behavioral strategy driven by the fear of uncertainty, faith is the internal willingness to surrender the need for certainty itself. Your faith acts as an anchor in challenging situations, such as a sudden business downturn or a major career change. It's not a denial of the difficulty, but a deep-seated belief that your efforts and trajectory hold meaning, even if the current path is obscured. Without this faith, fear translates immediately into an anxious, self-defeating scramble for control. It's important to remember that timing and patience are key parts of faith, and they often test how much you trust a process you can't control. Your resolve is tested when things take longer than expected or when surprises change your plans. Real faith takes patience. It means having the discipline to wait and the honesty to admit you can't force results on your own timeline. This is the real test of mastering your mind. Can you keep working toward your purpose even when the outcome depends on the timing you can't control? Balancing steady effort with acceptance is what makes faith a valuable tool for navigating the uncertainty that comes with transitioning from passion to purpose. Danny's journey is a powerful reminder that the forces of energy, fear, and faith are present in all of our lives, shaping the paths we take and the choices we make. His story shows us how energy can fuel our passions, how fear can create obstacles or motivate change, and how faith can help us keep moving forward even when the way forward is unclear. As you reflect on his experience, consider how these same forces have played a role in your own growth and self-discovery. This brings us to a crucial question. What did Danny and the world miss out on because Danny the builder never came to be? While we may never know the full answer, only Danny truly can. This uncertainty highlights an important truth. The answers we seek about our potential and fulfillment also reside within us. Through active self-discovery and mindset mastery, you have the power to uncover your unique purpose. Remember, the world is not your oyster. You are. The pearl is your mind. And your purpose is not just for you. It is your ultimate contribution to the world. If every individual had the capacity to pursue their talents professionally, the ripple effect of positive energy would change the world for the better. We've seen the power of creation online, but we also recognize that when the motivation is merely quick money, the effort isn't sustainable. As you embark on your self-exploration, remember to follow your heart and express yourself authentically. Be patient with yourself and others. Keep the faith, which is the opposite of control, and appreciate the resources you already have. I've spent the last 7 years on this journey, and through my company, Truth and Order, I'm committed to sharing what I've learned to help you. Your purpose is your masterpiece. You are a masterpiece. Don't wait for permission or certainty. Start building or rebuilding it today. And remember, your journey can and will inspire others too. Once you've left this talk, take a few minutes to jot down answers to these questions. When have you felt most alive or engaged? What were you doing? What are some talents or interests that run in your family? What challenges have shaped your journey so far? Where in your life do you sense both fear and excitement? Share your insights or experiences in a journal or with someone you trust. Discussing your answers can deepen your understanding and spark new ideas. And please, utilize all the tools, resources, products, and services offered at truthandorder.com to support your journey. Thank you for being open to this exploration. Your willingness to grow already sets you apart.